Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Blight Review Board regular meeting of Wednesday, October 12, 2022. We are in room 206 of Town Hall. First, have the members had a chance to review the minutes of the meeting of September 14?
Yes.
Any comments, corrections? There was some language in there that will live on, so we want to be careful about it, but it was all okay? Good. Okay, then may I hear a motion to approve? Thank you, Mr. Burke, Mr. Lamalt, seconded, in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous, appreciate that. Okay. Quick discussion on the use of drones. We got a letter from council on that subject, so I wanted to give them a moment of attention. Mr. Solito, you want to report on the result of that?
Oh, I did read it. I wasn't thinking I would have to, but
Yeah, you don't have
basically,
to,
he said that he was going to be doing some more research. He did a lot of research into it, and it has. He was trying to equate the use of the drones as in other government type of applications.
Yeah,
I know, though, for instance, if the town happens to want to use a drone for whatever purpose, it has to be done by a person has to have a particular license
yeah,
to work for a municipality.
right,
You know, the most drones you could have and fly within, and it's not an issue, but if you're doing work for a municipality, you have to have a specific license
right,
for that.
yeah,
And he was just looking at there's a 400-foot ceiling
right,
that you're limited to at some point, and then he was going into trying to decipher whether it's a privacy issue, being that it's not, I mean, the ordinance states ground level or at first floor, and a drone may violate that particular aspect of
right,
the ordinance. But
okay,
But this is different than, like, when you talk about the license, again, if I,
this is, yeah.
I buy the drone, I have to get this license, it's like $5. This privacy rules would apply if I was using, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like the mere fact that it's used by a town employee or for a town purpose
Yes.
changes the regulatory environment that it's in?
Yes, you have to have more than just an operator's license. You have to have a specific. I was actually looked into it when I was in Stanford, and there's classes that you have to take to get a certain. So he was looking into the privacy issue. He was still continuing to work on that.
right. Let me just quote him at his conclusion. In sum, it is in theory possible to make use of drones to detect blight violations, but it would require seeking and obtaining some level of federal or state approval before doing so.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bottom line. For us, as of the moment, we don't have any particular need or desire to do that, I gather. So. Okay, so anyway, thank you, council, for getting right to that. Let's turn to Mr. Solito's review of the properties that are subject to blight review of the moment. Mr. Solito, since we have two property owners here, why don't we start with the one I think higher on the list is 17-013.
Very good, yes.
Mr. Official, right?
Yes.
Would you please go over to the podium there?
Oh.
I'm told we've been bad about having folks picked up on the mic, so let's do that.
Okay.
So, Mr. Fischel, I think you've just recently received a notice that we did find blight conditions do exist on the property that is owned by the executor of a family member's estate and a whole number of other people, I believe. And that notice indicated that we need a remedy within 30 days, or we're going to start to impose a $100 a day fine.
So I have not actually seen a notice yet.
Oh,
I
no?
assume it's in the
Okay.
mail, so,
Actually, it was addressed to Ms. Olga Fischel,
okay.
I think in Norwalk, or I forget exactly where.
I'd like to actually correct that information that you have. So Olga Fischel is my mom,
Mhm.
She is not the executrix or executor of the estate any longer.
Oh, okay,
That was changed back in, I believe April of this year, with the probate court.
okay.
I can give you there are two executors, share the executorship. My sister, who is Linda Cohan, and my cousin Karen Smith. I'd have to get their correct addresses. And things.
Okay, we'd appreciate it if you
Okay.
do that. I guess we,
But it's fine also if the commission sends the information to my home address, just so
Okay.
that I make sure that they get the information as well. I can do
okay,
that too.
good. If you would, please give that to Mr. Solido.
Yes, I will, yes.
As quickly as
Can I
you
email
can.
it to you,
Yeah.
Robert?
That's fine, yeah, we've been,
Okay.
yeah, perfect,
Okay.
thank you.
Great, thank you.
So the 30 days to remedy the condition has not yet begun to run. That will run as soon as Ms. Fischel gets that.
Okay,
But as you can imagine, we've been talking with you over 6 months
Right.
or more,
yeah,
and we have seen no change in what we consider really an attractive nuisance
I understand.
to individuals who, if they go clambering around that house, are going to get hurt somehow or other. And it's a fairly prominent property, as you know. So,
I've explained, we've had a number of attorneys trying to help us quiet
Yep.
this title.
yep,
There is a developer in town who I know is interested in the property. I believe the commission is aware of that. We've actually contacted that developer. He has offered to get his attorney involved to try to assist us, because there is a small loophole that dating back to when my grandfather passed away that we just can't clear up. It's about a 4% share of the property that my grandfather doesn't actually own. And unless we get that 4% taken care of, we can't sell the property. So,
right.
Sorry, but can I just, and I
Yep, go ahead.
might be confused, but I understand the issue with the title for sale, but someone, whether it's the executor or the state, someone has to manage the property. And that's really what we're talking about. Whoever
Right.
is managing the property, whether they choose to sell it or not. That's why this is here.
I understand that,
Right,
but-
so how do we remedy that?
so obviously the house, I don't believe it's repairable at this point. It's a tear down. I guess we need to do something to satisfy the commission. As far as trying to repair the home itself, I don't really consider that worthwhile.
We did talk of a fence at one time.
Yeah, but so the property still will have a terrible appearance from the road or whatever.
The appearance is less a concern than access. You know.
Okay,
I believe we've been through this 3 times now that I can remember.
right.
Maybe there's been more that you
It's probably been
remember.
more, I think
But
this started
it's-
last year.
It always comes back to that 4% of the population that doesn't, you can't contact, you can't get a hold of. It keeps going back to that same issue, time and time again.
Right.
And, you know, what is it that's the problem there?
So, okay, so the last time we met with the probate judge here in Darien, he felt that he did not have the authority to rule on what occurred with this 4% share occurred when my grandmother passed away intestate. And the laws back then did not pass ownership to my grandfather. It went to this, part of it went to my grandfather, part of it went to his 7 children. 6 of the children sent quitclaim deeds for my grandfather on the property. One child had severe Down syndrome and was extremely disabled. At the time, for some reason, no one thought they needed a reason to have her have a quitclaim deed back to my grandfather. So that's where this tiny share comes in, dating back, this dates back, I guess when my
Yeah.
grandmother passed away.
This, it dates back a couple of years, I
I
think.
know. And we
They-
can't seem to find
It would
anyone
seem
who
to me
feels
that if
they have the
person who has
authority to
Down
say,
syn-
excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it seemed to me if the person who has Down syndrome, there should be somebody who can act on behalf of that person.
And we've searched the probate courts. There's nothing in the local court here. We searched the probate court in Southbury, which, for some reason, we believe she was probated up there. We're not sure. Nothing is on record of anyone actually having a say as to what her rights were or anything. We have one small paper that recognizes that she was disabled, and there was someone appointed on her behalf, but it didn't actually apply to the property.
Is she
It's-
surviving
No, she passed away many years ago.
with no heirs?
No heirs, no. Except her brothers,
Siblings.
her brother and sister, yeah.
So her siblings would have taken whatever share she
Yeah.
had.
It almost seems so obvious that it should, it's very difficult for any of us to understand why we can't clear this up. And believe me, the attorney's fees are getting rather
Yeah.
expensive at this point, and we still can't come up with anyone who's got a direct answer for this. We're hoping,
I wonder if the.
we had
the
Attorney
state
Tibbetts
had
in
some
town
interest?
working on it. And we really, at this point, he is suggesting we may have to go to Superior Court to get a quiet title action if they'll consider it. And other than that, we don't quite know what to do.
So,
Well, to Mr. Washeka's point, though, we have an obligation
Okay.
to the rest of our citizens in this town. We have an obligation to the statute as we see it.
Mhm.
And we're ready, willing, and able to help residents where we can.
Okay.
But I, for one, feel that that point is rapidly becoming very distant in the rearview
So-
mirror. So I don't know what we can do to motivate or help motivate the people in this title chain, other than to say these fines will be accruing.
Okay.
And there'll be a time when
What-
your ability to
Can I-
control this property will become less because the fines will become
I understand, yeah.
so large. And also to Mr. Washeka's point, while it's still in your possession, you can do things to cure the blight. You could raise the property and fence it. You could certainly stop having vehicles.
I don't believe there are any vehicles there, are
There was
there?
one there a couple of days ago.
That's-
There was one there a couple of days ago.
You could
Again?
certainly be more
Black
Well,
aggressive.
then, the neighbor told
You
me
could-
that was removed months
You
ago.
could certainly be more aggressive in seeing to it that there are no vehicles parked in that area.
Okay.
We have, children who walk past that property
Can I just ask,
every day. So I'm just saying to you, sir, that we will continue to act and those fines will accrue. And I can't sit here and relive first-year property from law school to sort out your title issues.
I understand.
But we will do what we have to do to resolve this issue.
Can I ask quickly, was it the pickup truck still?
No, it was a black sedan. I can't remember which day, but I mean, I drive by that, I'm on that street all the
Yeah,
time, so.
yeah. So would you consider the option of a fence and how,
Well, we agreed to that.
So-
You-
so what
Last
if-
time you came back, you said that cost too much.
yeah, I was surprised at the cost of what it would be to put it up. Would it be to circumvent the entire property, or how would that work? Or just
Yeah, so, children.
where the
couldn't get
frontage
in.
is on Hollow Tree Ridge, or?
Well, I think you'd have to fence the whole
Yeah,
property or else it would defeat the purpose of the fence.
Yeah, okay. At
But
this
as you
point,
say, it's going to remain looking that way, and I think to Michael's point, that you know, you have enough people there who can manage it to the point of tearing it down or something of that nature, you know.
I mean, have you looked into the cost of tearing it down? Like, whoever buys it's gonna tear it down.
We know a ballpark, the problem is there are funds, limited funds that the family can afford.
But the fines are gonna be there and.
I understand that,
You know,
yeah.
it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off, and what are the fines a day? It was $100 a
$100 a
day.
day.
Yeah.
It's $100 a day. It's
Yeah.
$3,000 a month, you know, that's gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna wind up with nothing left in the property to sell, you know?
Okay.
You're-
Let me relay all this information to the family members.
Yeah,
And let's
and
see
to
if
your
we can come
council.
up with something that will,
Your council and developer ought to get creative about this. There has to be a way to handle this by
I would think so, but
conditional contract
you
or
know,
something.
believe me, I've lost my hair dealing with this already.
That's unfortunate, but we've got a serious concern.
All right, so one option would be to level the property, and we'll look into
Yeah.
the cost of that. Does the town offer any assistance on something like that?
Financially, I don't honestly know.
What
I mean,
what about calling up Norotan Heights Fire Department and asking if they need a burn house?
I have not, I have not,
there's one right next to it. I mean, there's a house right next to it. I don't know if they'll do that.
No, but don't they did one on my street once a few years back, like,
Yeah?
yeah, I mean,
Is that something
Anyway,
that-
sure, do that.
I had no idea that would even be a consideration.
I don't even know if it is a consideration, but like, I know
Right.
they've done this before ahead of like someone who's gonna do a knockdown.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would,
Right, I don't know either. Another thought for you.
All right, I'll absolutely
But
consider that. yeah.
as I say, the fines will begin when your mother gets the notice.
All right.
Could you, and I should have started this when we were talking about names and addresses, but would you please state your name and address for the record?
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is William Fischel. Olga Fischel is my mother. She's currently living in a assisted living facility in Pennsylvania, so she's,
Pennsylvania.
and she has dementia now, so.
Okay. Oh,
My address is 60 Long Ridge Road in Reading, Connecticut, 06896.
okay.
Has your mother been appointed a guardian?
My sister and I have power of attorney for her.
So is that like a durable, or what kind of power of attorney?
Boy, I don't know, actually. I don't, you know,
Is it limited to a particular scope in health, or is it limited to all, or is it
we
covers all
have,
transactions?
we have authority to handle her financial needs because we're paying all her bills and everything, so.
Yeah, does it continue now that she's incapacitated? Can you still act under it?
I'm sure we can.
That would make it a durable.
I mean, in a way, again, it comes back to my mother not being the executor any longer, but that point is moot, I understand. It's still our responsibility, so.
All right. We should, Mr. Salito, I think we should get that notice to Mr. Fischel since he has some,
And like I said, I will
Authority to
email the two executors their names and addresses too, so that,
yes, please do.
I did think one of them would show up this evening.
Can you
but
make a note? We don't have our secretary here today. Can you take a couple of notes?
Yeah, sure.
Would you mind?
All right,
Thanks.
what do you want to say?
So, having met with Mr. Fischel,
Right.
he is aware that the fines will begin 30 days after notice is received. Notice is in the mail to his mother, but not in Pennsylvania, so it's unlikely it's going to reach her. So,
And yeah, the property in Norwalk actually has been sold.
Yeah.
That's a different party living in that home now.
so I've asked Mr. Salito to get a copy of that to Mr. Fischel at the address he just gave us, 60 Long Ridge Road in Reading.
Ready.
And when that's accomplished, we can move forward. Okay.
All right, you have the zip code on Ridgeville?
In
Zero-
Reading, your zip code is 0696,
06896.
okay.
Okay.
And we had a discussion of alternatives for Mr. Fischel, just for
Right.
your notes.
Right.
And he's going to act as soon as he can. Mr. Solito?
Should notice be sent to the new executors once we get their addresses?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Should we go through the town attorneys for that notification?
That might be wise.
I suppose we should, yeah.
And I think I would be overabundant in terms of providing notice for people who are on or close to this title chain, because the main point is that I don't want to see this held up for weeks or multiple months because we're having an inability to serve the right people. So you can have conversations with town council about that. Tell them that we want to start these fines immediately, and we want to make sure that we have a sufficient legal basis to enforce the fines, so we don't have a notice, problem. Because the time for delay is gone. This is going to happen as rapidly as possible.
And I'm sure council will understand, the more the merrier in terms of sending notices. Can't be criticized for sending too many. Okay, Mr. Fischel,
Right.
that do it for today?
All right.
Okay, good
I
luck.
hope we don't see you again,
Right.
except on the road.
No offense, but I agree.
Okay, and actually, next on our list is 17019. Please, would you come up to the podium and give us your full name and current
Mary
address?
Price, and my address is 66 Raymond Street.
Your
My
first
ish-
name is Mary?
Mary.
Mary Price.
I have a terrible cold and I don't want to give it to anybody in here.
We
That's
are
why I'm
grateful.
wearing a
No,
mask.
that's fine.
We are grateful, thank you. Okay, you say you did not actually receive the letter yet?
This was stuck in my door today.
Okay, good,
So it apparently was delivered by a marshal.
right,
That's what it said on it anyway.
yeah,
My issue is motor vehicle. I have one title, not the second title. No one can explain why. And the car's 12 years old, so nobody wants to come take it without the title. I have now found someone who will take it without the title, and both cars should be gone either Saturday or Sunday.
excellent.
But I mean, dealing with motor vehicle is like,
Yeah. Which one do you have the title to?
I have the title to the Nissan Sentra in my driveway, and the HHR that's sitting in the parking spot on the road is the issue, and I don't understand.
Okay,
You can't even walk into motor vehicle and get a duplicate title.
okay,
It has to be done all through the mail, which I did. Filled out both applications, I got one title, but not the other.
okay. We will be delighted to see both of them gone, but that will not cure all the
No, I know
issues.
that, and I spoke to him. Once the cars are gone, the oak tree is coming down. On the 20th of this month, I have a prefab company coming to look at the house, because we're tearing the house down.
You are?
And yes, and putting in a prefab. So hopefully by the end of this month, I will be in planning and zoning asking for a notice to demolish, because it would be absolutely insane to, the plumbing, electrical, nothing has been, I have tube and knob wiring in that house. It's never been
Okay,
upgraded since
good.
it was
No,
built, so
that's all good, but
everything will be gone.
can we see the other photo, Mr. Solito? think
I have no
there's the other-
photos.
I'm seeing debris, I'm seeing bags of what I expect
Okay.
is garbage there.
Should we let her come around to?
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, no, I know there's stuff in the driveway.
Oh, there you go.
But you need to stay near
And all
the-
that stuff was actually just put there a couple of days ago.
now we provided 2 dumpsters.
And they were filled, I mean, I don't know what to.
Ms.
tell-
Price, I need you to be near the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. And they were, that's not actually garbage, those are cans and bottles that are going back to the store.
I'm
and
sorry,
those-
what are they?
They're cans and bottles that are going back to the store, and they were just put there like 3 or 4 days ago. When
Well,
were those pictures
We
taken?
won't argue that point, but,
Okay,
so,
These, yeah, latest ones were taken yesterday.
okay, because I mean, look, I totally understand. I went to Stanford thinking I could get duplicate titles.
no, forget about the cars for now.
Okay,
Mr. Salito, other issues of blight that need to be cured here, I would think the debris on the driveway,
Yeah, and the
overgrowth.
trimming of the grass area on the left,
You got it.
Yeah.
left side of the property as well.
Okay. I think there was mold growing on the roof, but, well,
If it's demolished, that's.
yes, that would be fine.
Yes.
Might it just, given the whole process of tearing down the house and getting the permit, probably takes a little bit of while, so while, once you get the cars out of there, maybe some big garbage cans or something for like the cans of bottles, that would just be helpful to stop some of
We're
this
actually
others.
gonna bring in a dumpster and tear out all the fencing that's in there, because that's all pressure treated wood, it all has to go somewhere, so.
Hmm.
And my son has a friend who does landscaping who is going to, once the cars, he's taking the fence down around the backyard, all of it, that's all, look.
Okay.
I want it gone as bad as you all do, believe me.
Have you sold the house, the property?
No, we're
Oh.
keeping the property.
So you're gonna be spending that money to do all
Well,
that
the
work?
property is paid off, so where are we going to live? It's either rebuild the house at prefab for about $450,000, or get $350,000 for the property and go live someplace else. I don't think so.
Well, we won't get into that mathematics, but.
Well, the mathematics are what we've been offered. I'm just telling you what we've
Okay.
been offered, and it hasn't been over 350, so.
Okay. All right, well, 30 days from today, $100 a day fine does begin.
It
So
will be gone.
We need all that to be done.
It will be
by
done
then.
in 30 days.
And so, and if it's done, Mr. Salito will report to the next meeting, and that's how that works?
Yes.
When you say it will be done, you don't mean the tear down.
No, but
cleanup.
in all honesty, what you said about the fire is true. Norotan and the Heights will both set the houses on fire and use it as practice houses. Because one of my neighbors told me to do that and then say, well, my husband used to be a fireman at the Norotan Fire Department. So that may, I
That's
mean,
a quick
in the
way to do
past,
it.
in the
Yeah.
past, they have taken motor vehicles that we had to blow them up to teach these guys how to do fire put-outs and stuff.
Okay.
So,
So you're thinking maybe you can literally demolish the house by.
oh no, we're
No.
literally, I have to talk to planning and zoning to find out
it
what the
takes 90-day
limitations are.
notice.
And my understanding is we have to leave one wall standing of the original foundation. But, like I said, the prefab is coming out to look to see what is the best situation all the way around for how we do this. And that's how it's gonna go.
Okay. We need the outside to be cleaned up.
It will be.
Okay. All righty then, just be aware, 30 days, the 100 would begin
Absolutely,
if it's
I
not done.
understand.
Okay. All right, anything else, folks? Mr. Lamont made a note?
Yeah.
Good, all right. Thank you for coming in, Ms.
You're
Bright.
welcome.
Take care. All right, Mr. Salito, want to go back to the beginning?
Yes, I shall. Let me recue our presentation here.
17011.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Starting with 17-011. Been no improvements with that. That one is already, it is accumulating fines.
Right.
And there is already one lien on the property.
Okay. No contact from the owner.
No. Nope.
All right.
Sorry about
Then we
this.
can get to 18002.
And that would be the next one. Let me get to that on pictures. Sorry, channel 79. Okay. 18002. This is the one where we received a copy of a court giving the tenant a stay of on the property until the end of the year, December 31st. The property has not changed at all. As you could see, everything, all those bushes that you see are right next to the house. The backyard is non-existent now.
We're looking at 18002 now?
Yeah.
This is 18002, yes.
Liens filed, no change in condition.
Correct, yeah. Liens
No
are,
contact.
fines are accumulating.
Yeah.
Um,
Tenants present and,
Yes,
And you say liens have been filed.
yeah.
a lien has been filed on that property as well, yes.
And we've heard nothing from them?
No, this is, it's bank-owned.
Oh, this is the bank one?
Yes,
Okay.
the bank owns
And they're not
this.
gonna do anything about it?
Right,
It's their decision not to, I believe, yes.
right,
So
They
they're
can't.
just, they're allowing the liens to accumulate?
right.
Yes, they are aware, perfectly aware that liens are accruing. They know this.
Do they show any interest in at least cleaning the grounds? I mean, I've had situations where they don't want to go in and do anything with the structure, but they'll do things to the grounds. They'll hire entities to take care of that.
I understand that that is an option, and I brought that to them. However, their statements to me were that they will not, as company policy, go onto the property at all until the person has left. I know in other cases, we had gotten judges to allow the new owners to work on the outside of the property to clean up the yard. It hasn't been an issue with an improper tenancy.
Yeah,
This company, however, is not choosing to do that.
yeah. All right, well, and they're not a big lender, as I recall, so, yeah, anyway, okay. 18004.
18004. Again, there's a couple of liens on this. There's been no change on the property. These photos, images were taken yesterday. Everything is still in its place. The
The stone wall looks
construction containers.
This is one where we, in our last meeting, did approve a motion that would cause the Board of Selectmen to consider whether or not to proceed with a foreclosure of this property. Mr. Burke can give us an update, or what's next?
Yes, I reported that out to my Board of Selectmen colleagues, and we are going to consult with town attorney as to how to effort those next steps, but they're well aware of this board's feeling that we've run the course with this property, and we believe this is the next proper step.
Good, thanks. Okay,
For notes again, who you talked to?
the Board of Selectmen,
Okay, so the Board of Selectmen. Okay.
yeah, and they'll take their process to determine next steps. They've received our recommendation.
Okay.
Okay, and 18005,
18005.
The recommendation
This-
is to
foreclose,
foreclose.
or consider foreclose. Oh, yes.
Yeah, 18005, no changes at all to the house. I know that we were working on a second set of notices for additional violations that were found visible from the rear of the property from Stony Brook Road. The attorneys I know that you had asked me to speak to the attorneys about how they want to go about this. They wish to just add those violations to the existing action that's going on, without going and doing a completely different notice, line of notices.
Okay, that's fine.
And I explained to them that the most important thing was that whatever happened, that everything has to be cleaned up prior to the board deciding to end and the accrual of fines, and want to make sure that that second set of violations are legally included in the action. And that's really what we're going for,
Yeah.
the things that were in the back.
So because they're combined, it's still $100.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
a good point. We want to make sure all of the issues that we've now discovered get remedied
Mhm.
before the fines are.
Yeah. And so they're going to work on that.
I still say it's a dangerous driveway.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes, it is. You can see the front there of the property at that point, the.
And no one has been
fascia.
living there.
No.
It is not evident that anyone is
No.
living there.
Let's hope not.
However, the owner says that he does, but.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Okay.
21001, please.
21, very good. Again, this one, the changes have been that the for sale sign is down. However, there's been no change of ownership recorded with the town clerk. It's still owned by the same people. The neighbors are cutting the grass because they don't like the way, at least the front, but they
Yeah.
don't like the way it looks. However, if you look to the extreme left, you could see the back of the property, and the garage is still, that's the back, is all overgrown. You could see the garage doors, again, it's compromised. It allows free, anyone could climb into the garage, and which is one of the things you worry about, kids in the neighborhood having access to a place where they can get into some mischief.
Yeah.
But there's been no changes to that as well, but fines are accruing, and there has been, there has been a lien placed on that
Right.
property as well.
Okay, and the ownership, we have heard nothing?
I've heard nothing, no. From the, tried phone calls again, because we do have a phone number, and it goes to a voicemail, and they're not returned.
It's not occupied?
Not occupied, no,
Okay.
no.
Liens are accruing.
The last one on the list, again, is still there. That's the 151 Leroy. It is still being maintained.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fine. There are no fines, but we're maintaining, just keeping an eye on it until the property is somehow moved or reoccupied at some point, but
Uh-huh.
that was there. But that, other than that, that ends the report.
Which
is-
the last one was, what was the number?
16001,
Oh, the 16001. Just watching, is that?
yes.
Then what ultimately happens with the lien that's filed with the town, the 26,300?
Presumably it's gonna get sold and they'll have to pay it off.
Right, okay. But it's
I
there.
did, yes, I did, I mentioned to them, haven't done it recently, but a number of notices to the daughter saying that they can come in to discuss the property or the fines with the board if she wanted to, but there's been no response to that.
No new complaints that have risen to our attention?
A couple of complaints, but unfounded at this point, so.
Okay.
Or the agenda?
Yeah, so you may have seen some complaints come out, but there's no
Okay.
cause at this point to have
All
any
right.
action.
Fair enough. All right, so thanks, Mr. Slito. The next item on the agenda was a quick update on the prospect of expanding jurisdiction to commercial properties as we approved in our last meeting. And Mr. Burke can maybe give us a quick update on where that stands. Actually, it stands in my lap, I think.
Right, so I communicated the thoughts of this board to my colleagues on the Board of Selectmen, and it was not something that we took a vote on. I would say the sense that I got from the board was that it was met with understanding our rationale, and I certainly didn't hear any pushback from any of the members. But as you alluded, they're seeking a written request. And what I will do certainly after that request comes in is that I will monitor that progress and certainly request that it pop up as an agenda item as rapidly as possible.
Good,
I
okay.
think, George, you said you were gonna write a letter.
Yes, that's what they want. Just short, sweet, and simple is my intention, to let them know that we did approve a motion which would seek expansion of the jurisdiction to include commercial properties. I'll copy you, Mr. Burke, on that, so you'll know when that goes out. And we'll let the selectmen do their thing from there. I am told that obviously it needs to go to the RTM from the Board of Selectmen if they approve it. Who or when the actual amendment, if it is approved, is drafted, that's up to the selectmen, I guess.
Correct.
Okay, anything else? Huh, not bad. Okay. Good, well then, thank you, Mr. Lamont, for your motion to adjourn, and Mr. Washek in second, and that was unanimous. Look at that, good. Thank you all very much.